So in the bottom side was Vesper. Playing as a lovely blue color, we have Master of Math. Taking on TFJ in the top side. Playing Koji in the yellow. And they are playing the game 1 on Cloak and Dagger. I'm just going to have a quick look at the bands while we have a little bit of opening going on. Map bands were Before the Flood and Auranian. Makes sense, they're two of the longer maps. And the commander bands were Ragna, Tenri, Wolfer, and Caesar. Makes sense, if you're playing on Cloak and Dagger, Tenri, you would really want to ban Wolfer, he's very strong on this map. Ragna getting banned is very interesting. We've definitely seen, I would say, a lot of Ragna being played because people generally consider not quite good enough to ban, but definitely good enough to pick a lot. These are that kind of stage where, yeah, she's just good enough to be really strong in a match, but slightly below everybody in terms of actually being worth banning. But in this case, people decided to ban her, leaving Vesper open, who currently has an extremely good win rate in this tournament. Very strong commander, and Math, no stranger to being very good with Vesper, decides to play her. TFJ decided to go Koji, which I can see on this map. There is like, this headquarters is kind of vulnerable at points, and bombs give you mobility in terms of like ability to do damage that's very mobile. They can go over this terrain because they are floaty boys that like to fly around. Like this use of the mage to capture this, so the sword isn't going to be able to. This actually also threatens this sword as well. So if the sword wants to capture this village, it's going to have to do so from the forest. Otherwise the mage will be able to stop it, and the mage could actually run up and just capture that village there. This mage has a lot of promise to be very annoying. Master Math lining up a knight on this side. This Koji moving down to defend. Just going to leave his army to fight up here. So this side is going to be determined by who has the stronger units and better use of them. And this side is going to be determined more by how the commanders are used, along with how this headquarters will be under threat by, like, let's say the knight. And Vesper, who's extremely dangerous to headquarters. And as is pointed out by chat, Koji bombs do hit units in Vesper's cloud. They do not need to target, they do AoE damage around. And also, because they can wall, it means it's very difficult to surround stuff when there's bombs involved, because you have to kill the bombs first, which is quite a task in itself. What are we going to see Koji do? Could potentially heal off this village. Vesper has the ability to knock it down this turn. And I like this mage going forward. Doesn't capture either of these villages, so his headquarters is quite vulnerable. TFJ going for a spear defense into a knight. I like this. Spears are quite affordable, and you don't need a huge amount of mobility to cover these. They're extremely potent against knights. Very, very good at defending against their attacks. So this is going to come in quite nice. It's going to be very well timed. A sword is good enough to block the knight for now. And how is TFJ going to use his commander? I mean, this sword should really be used now. Either capturing this hideout or moving it down. He's taking a moment to think about his options. Goes for this village capture. This sword is going to be quite vulnerable to dying. Baits a knight onto the headquarters. Ooh. Right, Koji basically goes up to full. Captures the hideout. Maybe gonna see a rifle used to cover. Not an option we've seen so far from the players, so. And sword goes on this side, so there's gonna be more aggression coming on this way. Alright, uses the sword to weaken Vesper to finish off. Night crit's there, so night crit is now available on this side of the headquarters. Probably going to see the spear move down to there just to prevent anything going through. Mage is nice. This is going to provide healing. Or potential healing. Ooh, we have options. The spear goes down there. That makes sense. It covers there. Knight can no longer crit. Knocks the village down for groove. There isn't really a surround here, so that's fine. The other option would have been to move Koji here and get a sword crit and finish off that sword, but you then give, actually no, you wouldn't open up Vesper to getting a kill because she's quite weak. You would have to burn a mage heal to kill the sword. Although that in theory is worth it because Vesper's groove is so strong. Alright, mage comes up here into the forest. This is going to be really difficult to dislodge this mage. The knight crit will do it. Is that actually going to kill? 115. Actually, yeah, the night crit's gonna kill that. But maybe a bit of a blunder on TFJ's part. He's what he thinks is a free unit, but he is gonna get a night crit to the face as punishment. Golem coming down. Oh, that's a painful mistake with the mage then, because that would allow the golem to be so much stronger. Right, so how is Master Math going to play this out? Koji is in a little bit of a vulnerable spot where he could get surrounded. No lethal. Vesper, yeah, the heal comes down. That's very good decision making. And Koji is going to be forced to go back. Yeah, and the night crit comes out. Gonna use these swords to take down this village. And this is a smart play. Uses the weak sword on this side as opposed to this side, so no threat from this sword to kill. Yeah, like this damage to Koji is you're taking 11% on a knight and you're using a mage heal. That's an interesting one actually, because Koji builds quite a bit of groove himself because of that. He can walk back and heal off this village. Night crit comes back in return. Heals off this village? A little risky. There isn't quite enough to kill Koji, I don't think, though. I would have moved back to here, but... And you can't... Oh, actually, you could put a unit there to block. So this sword could come in and block, and Koji would be completely safe. It would take a lot of extra units to clear that, but Koji isn't strong enough to counter-attack anything right now. The knight is what's going to be sacrificed. It's whether or not he wants to also sacrifice the sword. Probably going to see... Right, sword comes in there so Koji can't get surrounded. Yeah, because Vesper could have just walked around, potentially. Mage is a good choice. Heal is going to be really important here. And TFJ, losing the mage on this side, quite a big deal. Golem. He only really killed a sword with it as well, so Golem is like such a good option. Like with the mage, and that just becomes so much weaker. Oh, if you knock the village down, I think the knight can get through and go around and hit the other side, so this might be game. Yeah, the knight can hit from the top side now. Yeah, Koji's very dead. He should have moved back here to heal. And Master of Math takes game 1 in what, 10 minutes, if that? And as chat is saying, he needed to heal on the village with more health, and I absolutely agree. I thought he was going to go down to this village here. But he did not. And Master of Math, realizing the options, takes game 1.